Yo, what's up, guys? It's your boy ShowtimeDr. Come to tell you, all of the growth dungeons, they're half off right now, including the rune dungeon, as you can see here. So I wanted to start with a picture of this for you guys. It's 952 XP, not bad, considering this was a 77 energy dungeon. As you can see now, I got lucky here with the three 5-star rune drops here. But let me show you guys what's up right now. You are definitely going to want to hit the evocation dungeons if you're missing anything at all. You can see it's 38 energy here for this one. I'll go ahead and show you the rest of the growth ones. The rest of them are 16. Definitely hit up the hards on everything. Unless you're a new player, then watch that evo dungeon. But otherwise, use the evo dungeon, get some tickets, go ahead. And then obviously pretty much every other dungeon here, half off. So if you were missing anything, they even got 3 XP dungeons open for you now. Now's the time to go and get that. So, and then as you can see as well, we got the event timer here. You're still getting half off on the advent dungeon. So if you're missing your advanced farming materials for your purple stars, definitely go hit those up as well. Knight's medals, offering some bonus stuff. So just a message for you guys. Right now in this video, actually, I wanted to actually go ahead and thank everybody for their feedback. And I'm really appreciative of all the subs, all the follows. You know, I do things organically here, so you're not going to see like fake thumbnails and, you know, this is the greatest thing ever, you guys must click. Like, I don't do that stuff. So if you want to see some information, there's some good info videos out there. I'm going to do my best to bring you what I feel is important. So the topic of this video is actually going to be underrated characters, sleeper characters if you would. A lot of characters people sleep on. One of them's on the banner right now. So actually I might as well go show you him from there. Fire banner. Which one? There's only one guy on the banner. There he is. So I see a lot of the higher streamers, although one of them recently changed his mind finally because he went and beat the chess boss with this guy. Serdic, I do not get why people sleep on this hero, so... I mean, you got your decent Fire Dark. Fire Dark actually has a lot of synergy with a lot of heroes. For instance, this hero and Mina, they both utilize Charm very well. Mina's Dark. I'm gonna go ahead and show you why this guy's good. So at the beginning of the fight... Well, I'll show you the passive right now. 80% additional damage to 2 targets imprinted with Rose Crest. Imprints Rose Crest on female heroes for 2 turns at the start of the wave. So Rose Crest is a debuff, unique to Serdic. Basically what happens with it, he's going to hit harder. He's going to automatically imprint female heroes. So he has an innate disadvantage against male heroes, which I'll continue to show you later. But since so many, especially in PvP, of the heroes are female and meta right now, if you get yourself a good Fire Dark team, you can destroy them without them even being able to do much about it, just merely because of the CC, but I'll show you why this guy's so good. Once you get a 60, Bad Boy decreases damage by 40% when attacked by an enemy imprinted with Rose Crest. So anyone that has Rose Crest debuff on him, he's going to go ahead and just take 40% less damage right off the top. He's ridiculous. Also increases attack by 30% for 2 turns each time an enemy is charmed. The charm right here, like we said, he has a higher chance to charm female heroes with his 1. But still a decent 35% chance, and once again, you can use your number 2 to put Rose Crest on anybody, even males, monsters. There's a little blind chance too, so that's adding to your mitigation a little bit. And then, like I said, you run this guy with Mina. Mina's charming her butt off all fight with her 2. I think she has a chance with her 1, so... And once again, right here, inflicts penetration damage, goes right through most shields. 180%, and to adjacent enemies. Once you skill that up, that's probably going to get into the 300s range. And it charms any target that's imprinted with Rose Crest. So if any of those 3 targets have Rose Crest on them, hey, you're going to go ahead and get that charm off for a turn. Makes them pretty much, it's almost like a stun. They do have a chance to break out of it if they're hit. But this character's just really good. I don't understand. A lot of people just sleep on him because he can basically make himself mitigate a good majority of the damage, and he can also go ahead and hit people really hard. So that's a character to look for. Definitely roll. I mean, obviously, Other than Leafa, he's probably not the best hero on this banner, but he's still really good, especially if you got that Fire Dark synergy. That's your best hero on the banner. Amazing tank right there. I've already gone over that stuff, so let's go ahead. I'll show you guys some other heroes that are sleepers. I actually own one, and I hardly ever see her being played in videos and streams I watch, etc. So this girl right here, Ellie, you might have seen her, the little girl on the pillow. And you're thinking, well, ShowtimeDr, why is she so special? She looks kind of bad. Well, number one, I know her really well, so I can already tell you what her hero talents do. So number one, decent hit, 35% chance to brand. That's going to go ahead and give you 30% more damage for 2 turns. Also, I have her talented. She can add shock. Shock's a debuff if it gets dispelled, if there's a Rue on their team. It's going to go ahead and stun the dispeller. So, very underrated debuff in the meta right now. Her number 2, it's going to offer you 3 target, 40% chance to put 2 enemies to sleep for 2 turns. Go ahead, 50% chance to decrease attack by 30 as well. I also have this talented so that it's doing poison. Poison, one of the best debuffs in the game right now. Basically, if someone's poisoned, it needs to be dispelled before that person can be healed. Otherwise, the healing is actually doing damage to them. So this right here has a chance to put up three debuffs. She's a little debuff battery. That's what I call her. And then her alt right here inflicts penetration damage, hits multiple times. And it marks up the 2 targets. It'll target 3. So mark, once again, you hit someone that's not marked, it's going to go ahead and do a chunk of damage to the marked character. You plan that right, you can do some massive damage depending on your skills if you're hitting multiple times with multiple characters like an Ashley. This is underrated. This is very underrated as well. And then here's what actually makes her character, because most people look at that kid and they're like, that's alright, but what else she got? So, falls asleep for a turn when defending. So literally hitting the defense button, which most people don't do. Additionally, so you get, for 1 turn, you get the sleep debuff, but additionally, it restores the caster's HP by 40, a self-heal for 40%. Not even including HP recovery runes, which, in my opinion, you should gem for a little bit on her, just get her that HP recovery. And increases attack by 100%. There are very few heroes in the game that have a buff like that, 100%. So for 3 turns. Decreases damage taken by 50% while sleeping. So while she's sleeping, even if she happens to get accidentally slept, this is going to go ahead and go off. She's going to take 50% less damage. And then she's going to heal herself for a good chunk here, and she's going to get a buff. And then if you're lucky, someone's going to hit her, maybe once. And she's going to wake up early. Instead of taking that round off, she's going to wake up early. She's going to have that attack buff for 3 turns. It's ridiculous. I use her. I can solo... if I get to the end and the rest of the party dies, I can solo the, I forget that Charlotte boss or whatever, the night boss in the 3-star dungeon. I can solo some of the harder guild dungeon bosses with her. You just sleep. Obviously, her synergy, she's going to go well with Saya. Saya already puts out a butt ton of damage, and she can sleep as well. Saya takes advantage from sleeping. And basically, even a Rue, because a Rue will automatically dispel the sleep every turn, which may or may not be good depending on what type of enemy you're fighting. If there's a lot of damage going out, maybe you want her to be asleep, so she's got that extra mitigation. But this character is really well. I'm going to go ahead and show you her ultimate now. Decrease caster's skill cooldown by 1 turn, and an ally skill cooldown by 1. So just passively, it's just decreasing cooldowns there. And restores 20% of HP to all allies, excluding the caster when defending. So... actually, I'm not sure if that's linked. Maybe the defense is linked. Usually when it says "and" in this game, it depends on the translator. This will be separate from this, but it could be both. Who knows? Anyways, so then... but yeah, so now she's not only turned into a healing battery for herself, she can heal the team when defending. So you need a clutch heal, your healer got stunned, whatever's going on, just defend with her. She's mitigating, she's surviving, she's increasing her damage, and she's going ahead and healing the party a little bit. So excellent character, excellent hybrid. Really, a lot of people sleep on her. You can make her so tanky. Now, the problems with her, obviously if she gets poisoned, if, you know, pretty much everyone has a problem with Melancholy, or the other debuff that blocks passives and buffs. Her leadership as well, nothing to sneeze at, a little bit more crit damage there, not the greatest thing. And I'm gonna go ahead and show you her. God, I wonder if there's a way to show you. There it is. So the drawbacks with her are she doesn't crit hard. Her innate crit, I believe it starts at 20%. So building her for crit is the wrong way to go unless you're just insane and going all out crit and maybe going to like 60% crit or something. But even then, I wouldn't do it. I'd build her for counter because you're going to be defending with her a lot. So if she's countering and she's putting up that brand, she's putting up that shock. That's pretty good. Get her some attack speed. She's a little bit slow without it. Once you start getting her purple stars, generally it fixes herself. Get her a lot of defense because she's already mitigating. Evade's nice, but you know, not necessarily needed. Some HP, of course. HP recovery, like I suggested before. And she's gonna rock for you, man. She's gonna do really well. She's gonna keep your party up. She's gonna do some good damage. She has penetration. She has a little bit of CC. Lots of debuffs. And she's a battery, dude. She's just gonna keep your team up. So look into that hero. Lots of people sleep on her, literally. LOL. Pun intended there. But let's see. I'm gonna go ahead and look through my heroes here, see who else a lot of people sleep on. Oh, I got a couple. Oh, here's one. So Aristo. Oh wait, that's Jake. LOL. Aristo and Jake kind of look similar. See what I'm saying? Oh wait, that's Jake again. Damn it. Okay, well I know Aristo's down here somewhere. I'll find him. Go ahead. Oh, Alfred. Okay, so here's another one. We'll get to Aristo later. So Alfred's a tank, and he's also a light tank, which kind of unique to him. There might be other light tanks, but I'm not familiar with any of them. So it's number one already, 45% chance to taunt, pretty good for a number one. Number two, 50% chance to taunt, 70% chance to decrease target buff durations. Gonna go ahead and hit 3 people with that, so that's pretty good. Number 3, inflicts damage equal to 165, 3 targets, 35% chance to stun, so getting you a little bit of mitigation there. Hitting 3 targets. So here's a stacking buff here. Obtains 2 spiritual sensors at the beginning of the battle. Consumes 1 spiritual sensor to restore the caster's HP by 5% when attacked. So that's pretty good. So he's just like healing himself the more of these sensors he has. 50% chance to gain a sensor when using skills. That's going to go up because this is only a 4-star. So this and the leadership are obviously going to go up. Leadership, nothing to be sneezed at if you need some HP. And then we'll go ahead and get to 60 here. Cast a shield on all allies equal to 20% of HP for 2 turns and revive 1 ally excluding the caster upon death. So really good guy here, really underrated. If you're fighting some dark things that hit pretty hard, you know, you got this guy. This guy's going to do some work for you. So a lot of people really underestimate him, but I've seen him in action. He's really good. So I go ahead and recommend him. Also, one other hero. A lot of people don't know just because they look at her and she's SR. This character right here is top tier. Just as good as any top tier DPS you can name in different ways. So right here, she's gonna... I wish that they take out this 35% chance thing, because I don't like it when it's, you know, someone already has to be sleeping, so why not just give her the bonus damage? That makes no sense, but, yeah, no, whatever. So it's still pretty good. Gonna go ahead and hit for 100, inflict 30% additional damage, 35% chance on a sleeping target. Like I said earlier, she synergizes really well with Ellie. This right here has a chance to put him to sleep. I believe once you upgrade it, it gets up to 40. So decent damage there. And this is why you use it right here. Ignore defense. So you can get 300% attack, get to 480 once you level it up, and you reset, or excuse me, increase target skill cooldown. So this character is just stupid OP. This right here, Dream Fragments, it's going to go ahead, have a good chance to go off 40% every time you use it. If there's 3 fragments at the end of her turn, it's going to get rid of them all and put a random target to sleep for 2 turns. So that's really good. And then Ghost Girl, I'm still working on it myself, but it's going to give her some mitigation because she's a bit squishy at first. Basically, when she gets to 50%, she's going to go immune to damage for 2 turns. So basically, only thing that's going to hit her is penetration damage. I'm not sure if debuffs still stack normally. And her leadership is underrated. If you got a pack that like wrecks you, does lots of multi-target stuff, and you have a light win team, go ahead and throw her in leadership. That 20% evasion does work. Does a lot of work there. So, alright, let me get down to some other heroes. Alright, so here's another one. Natasha. Anybody you see, by the way, the guitar girl, who I do not believe I have. There's a guy with a fiddle. Anyone that's in the band. So check this out. This fanatic status. All of the people in the band team take advantage of this in one way or another, and I'll show you another one later. And if I do have the guitar girl, I'll bring her up later. But basically, Natasha here, she's a lead singer. Gonna inflict some damage here. 35% chance to apply fanatic status, more on that later. 70% chance to apply fanatic status to 3 targets on her 2. Increase caster's crit strike by 30%. Not sure if that's damage or chance. They don't really say here. Hopefully it's chance. And then you got your penetration alt on all enemies, which is really good. That's a really high percentage to hit everybody. So probably when you upgrade that, it gets to about, I would guess 15% in upgrade. So probably you're looking at 200. If you're looking 180 something, 200 something. For passive right here, increase attack by 10% for 2 turns. Each time the enemy becomes fanatical, stacks up to 3 times. Restores 1 HP when receiving buffs. So that's going to upgrade as she gets higher to 6-star. Probably to 3%, maybe if you're lucky 15 to 20% on this. She's just going to be hitting really hard. If anyone that's done that event with the band, you guys know how much they can rock. Kind of seems punny there, but you know what I mean. 80% chance to silence fanatics for 1 turn once you get her 60. So silence, really nasty debuff in this game. It's going to go ahead. You can't use your 2 and your 3 as long as it's up. And then her leadership's alright. So this is an underrated character right here, Natasha. But it's underrated in the sense of if you get a lot of the band characters together. If we get down to the band characters more, I'll go ahead and show you. So here's Aristo. This is the guy I was looking for before. He's an SR attack. So he has this thing called Lustrous Energy. We'll show you more on that later. Basically, acquires 3 Lustrous Energy and an additional 1 to 3. Gonna do his attack to 1 person there. So anytime he's countering, he's multi-attacking, he's using his 1. He's just stacking that Lustrous Energy. So inflicts damage equal to 120% on his 2 to target 2 adjacent enemies. 25% chance to remove a buff. Consumes all Lustrous Energy to inflict. Additional damage equal to 0.05 attack for each Lustrous Energy. That's going to make more sense later. We'll show you that. Number 3, Ultimate Luster Blow. 300%, 40% chance to make targets unable to revive for 2 turns. Really strong, by the way, in this PvP meta right now. Revive seems to be the current meta. Consumes all Lustrous Energy to inflict damage. Excuse me, guys. Pardon me there. And then, yeah, he's going to consume that Lustrous Energy to inflict damage, 0.5%. Ignores defense, really good ultimate. So Lustrous Energy right here. We'll show it to you. These stacks basically increases attack by 0.3. Once you get him to 6-star, it's going to be 0.5. So basically, once you get the max, it's 50% more damage on everything he does. And then assuming you're in a longer battle, if you have 100 stacks of that, you're going to go ahead and hit 50% of attack that ignores defense and just hit 50% harder on this one right here. So it's really good. And then his 60, once you work on it, just right off the bat, he gets 10 Lustrous Energy at the start of the turn. So that's going to make him even more ridiculous. Dude's going to up his damage, just be hitting harder and harder. Activates Resolve upon taking fatal damage, so you go ahead, you got a little bit of defense there. Restores 10% HP once Revive is activated, once per battle. So if they focus him, they get him down, you don't have a Demos, you don't have anything. He's going to get right back up, he's going to Bruce Lee some dudes. So, and then Light and Water, you know, kind of a weird synergy there, but I'm sure there's some other heroes that take advantage of it. So a little bit of multi-strike chance. You can buy him right now in the laboratory, so definitely get your copies of him. There's copies of Saya as well. Definitely make sure to get those. This is the Fiddle. Oh no, that's Chrono. Okay, so Chrono's actually not bad. I'll show you Chrono. So Chrono, the Master of Time here, is going to go ahead with his, just with his 1, you get him some multi, you get him some counter. He's going to have a chance to increase the target skill cooldowns by 1. Really powerful. His 2 is arguably his weakest. It's Dark Elemental allies, so he has some synergy here. He's Dark as well. He's going to decrease their skill cooldowns by 1. 10% chance to decrease Fire Elemental allies skill cooldowns. Not quite sure. Once you upgrade that, maybe that gets to 25 if you're lucky, but that's kind of a weird ability. That's the only thing that really holds him back. But otherwise, his 3 inflicts damage, 120% of attack to all enemies, 20% chance to increase target skill cooldowns by 1 turn. And then this right here, time rewind. So it gets to probably 5% once you get the 6-star, maybe a little more. Decrease all the caster's skill cooldowns by 1 upon using time interference. Time interference right there is number 1. So then next attack will be critical strike upon receiving a cooldown decrease effect. So every time he's decreasing his cooldowns, the dude's hitting really hard. So you can go ahead and get him some damage there. Dark and Fire, like I said before, has a really good synergy. That's a decent decent leadership there. So he's underrated, just slightly, not much, just slightly. His 2 holds him back, unfortunately. But still, there's a Dark Fire synergy there, so it might go up for you, because Fire's so strong. I actually wish, if I would have done this, I would have made this 50% for Dark, 50% for Fire, and just have it go off for one or the other each time. I think that would have been better. Maybe you need to upgrade it to 6 for that, otherwise maybe it's 35% each, you know, something like that. That's what I would do. But anyways, they didn't agree with me. Now Claudia is one of the characters in this game that has a unique stacking thing here. But she's really good though, so we'll start with her 1. She's dark, by the way. Once you get a 6-star, remember her passive and her leadership, if I don't mention it, are going to be better. So increases damage equal to 100% of attack to 1 target, 35% chance to apply Sweet Candy for 3 turns. That's a debuff unique to her. Number 2, inflicts damage equal to 110% to all 3 enemies. 100% chance to apply Melancholy for 2 turns if the target is under the effects of Sweet Candy. So Melancholy, for those who don't know, it's kind of hard to look it up here. I believe that's the one that it seals all buffs. So basically, you have some buffs, you get Melancholy on you, you don't have buffs anymore. I may be wrong, but the only other choice is, because I forget what the other buff's called, or debuff, there's one that does the same exact thing for passive, so it seals all passive. So whichever one it is, I completely forget. But whichever one it is, you're either sealing buffs or you're sealing passives. You're innately just making the character weaker. Imagine not being able to use your passive skill on most things here. So if you go ahead, they got Sweet Candy on them. Then you got Melancholy on them when you hit them with your 2. Her ultimate here, 120% damage to all enemies. Inflicts damage equal to 20% of attack that ignores defense to all enemies under the effect of Sweet Candy. So anyone with Sweet Candy debuff, you're going to go ahead and hit them a lot harder. So that's a pretty good one right there. Her passive, 30% chance to steal one of the target's buffs. I believe it's buffs that she steals when attacking an enemy under the effect of Sweet Candy. 100% chance to inflict 30% additional damage when attacking a Melancholy target. Melancholy, like we said, it's right over here. And then her ultimate, this is what makes her pretty crazy. Grants the caster abnormal status immunity for 2 turns. And applies Sweet Candy to 2 random enemies for 2 turns at the beginning of the wave. So every wave, Sweet Candy is going to already be on some people. So you can choose your path from there. You can steal their buffs. You can hit them real hard and ignore defense. You can go ahead and put Melancholy on people. You know, it just gets really crazy. So she's really good. I'm looking to bring her up in the future. Dark Wind, they have a little bit of synergy. Not as good as Dark Fire in my opinion, but still, this is an excellent character a lot of people sleep on, so definitely if you get her, keep her. Don't mess with her too much. Esther, so here's a thing. Esther is a dark healer, a dark support, which from what I've seen is super rare in this game, so what she has going on. Inflicts damage equal to 100% of attack, you know, just kind of your typical healer thing. You upgrade her, it goes to 10%, I believe. Additional healing for Dark. Restores one ally's HP by 35% on her 2. Increases caster's recovery amount by 20% for 2 turns. Some people are confused about recovery amount. Recovery amount is actually a regen at the end of the turn. So it can actually kind of screw you if you got poison, but otherwise it's really good. So basically she's putting like a heal over time as well as healing you with her 2. For 3 is going to go ahead and revive 2 allies, restore 30% of her health. Revive really strong, obviously. Here's her passive right here, Grace of Light. Decrease damage taken from 5 target attacks. Basically any attack that hits all 5 targets. by 10%, restores the caster's HP by 10% when the caster heals an ally. So every heal she tosses out, she's healing herself. Once you get a 6-star, I would guess this gets to 30%. So right off the top, decreases damage from 5 target attacks by 30%. I'm hoping that that applies to the whole party, but I would guess it applies just to her. And then she's going to go ahead and revive 50% HP upon death with her 60. Increases recovery amount here, so once again a good regen. So she's a really underrated character. A lot of people don't know she's even there until they pull her. A dark support, you know, you got a dark team rolling around, you got a dark fire team, you got some options here. So Esther's pretty sweet. So I'm gonna bring up an R right now. And most of you may be like, oh, it's an R, it's not gonna be that good. The thing about R characters is, in the right team framework, an R character can do well. There's lots of garbage Rs, but Vladdy is not one of them, so I'll show you his suite. So right now we'll start with his passive. Restores the caster's HP by 5% when attacking a bleeding target, so he's got some bleeding synergy here. Grants protection to one ally for 1 turn at the end of turn. So, protection I'm not even sure. Obviously it's a mitigation buff. I'm not sure if that's one of them that just blocks all damage, or if it's like a set amount of damage. But either way, it's going to mitigate, so he's got some mitigation there. Let me just go to his 1 here. So his 1, 100% one target, 50% chance to cause bleeding, so there's your bleeding right there. 30% of his attack for 2 turns. And he's dark, by the way, so he's got some dark synergy here. Inflicts damage on his 2 equal to 200% on 1 target, applies bleed for 2 turns. So basically it's just a straight apply bleed, unless the guy happens to be immune. Restores HP by 30% of damage inflicted, so he's going to go ahead and get some health regen. He's already regen a little bit of health right here from the bleeds. Inflicts damage equal to 120% of attack to all enemies on his ultimate, and 30% additional damage if target is bleeding, so obviously a bleeder meta here. And then his 60, once you get it, grants the caster immortality, revives once while killed while immortality is active. Light downer here, will not revive if burned. Kind of doing the vampire lore there. I approve. And his leadership, he's going to increase Dark Water max HP. So Dark Water, there's a little bit of synergy there. But this guy's really underrated. He has lots of things to keep him stealth up. If you get him with some bleeder synergy stuff, he's going to go ahead, hand out a little bit of a buff here for protection, a little bit of mitigation. He mitigates by sucking life. And he's doing extra damage, so there's an underrated character right here. He's especially good on bosses, the boss stuff, because the damage that he's doing, for the most part, is healing himself. And he's granting that protection, so you can stay up longer on the boss and still do some pretty good damage there. So I believe this is the filler guy. Okay, so you guys remember I was talking about that Fnatic debuff with the band members? So here's another guy that takes advantage of it. There are 5 characters, by the way, in that band. So you can make a full band party that takes advantage of this Fnatic status. Yari Star, the lead singer, she has literally a huge chance to apply Fnatic. I believe it was 80% on one of her abilities. So this guy right here, I'm going to say Francois. And go with my French. Increased damage equal to 55% to 3 targets. Inflict, rather. 30% chance to apply Fnatic status. So you got another person trying to apply Fnatic here. Grants a shield to 3 allies equal to 25% on his 2 of max HP for 2 turns. Targets match XP, by the way, not his. You don't have to make him like super tanky to take advantage of that. And decrease their debuff durations, always good thing. Increase all allies attack by 20% on his ultimate for 2 turns. Decrease attack of all Fnatic enemies by 20%. So you're getting some mitigation, you're getting some damage amp right there. And he's at 5 stars, so this won't go up much more, maybe 40%. 35% chance to decrease the target's buff duration by 1 when attacking a fanatical enemy. Reduce damage taken from fanatical enemies by 15%. And then once you get a 60, decrease fanatical enemies' attack by 30% for 2 turns when the caster dies. So, you know, this guy goes down. Hey, you got some mitigation there. And increases light allies' critical strike chance, so... Once again, like I say, he's probably one of the lesser really good Fnatic thing, but he still offers his benefits, and it's really cool just to have a band team up anyways. So this guy, I got him recently. He's another R, Dr. Morale. Inflicts damage 100%. Attack, one target. 50% chance to decrease target's defense by 30%. So that's pretty good for a 1. Does 2. Increase caster's attack by 30. Removes all debuffs. So he's getting focused. He'll just rage up. He got his 2. Number 3. 3 target 165, 50% chance to apply explosive. Explosive, for those who don't know, basically it's going to be doing damage after 2 turns, and it's going to hit the dudes right next to him for a set amount of damage there. Not sure what the set amount is, but I haven't really seen people run explosion meta in anything really right now. So his passive here, he gains a 40% chance to gain Suspicious Mixture stack. That's a stacking buff. When attacking, inflicts damage to all enemies equal to 30% of attack if there are 3 or more suspicious mixtures at the end of the turn. So obviously you get this guy multi, you get this guy counter. You want him to be attacking as much as possible to try to get this mixtures up, because 30% of attack, obviously he's rated attack right here. Increase caster's attack by 10% for each suspicious mixture, so just amping his attack even more there. And then fire allies critical strike, so it goes really well with the fire team. There's some fire teams that synergize around explosion. Never seen a good one for myself, but you know, this is going to go ahead and go to 50% once he gets his extra star. This will go to 20%, so he's a character to consider, assuming you got like a decent fire meta team here. So let's go down. Let me see if I can find a couple others. This guy is kind of interesting to me, but as you guys know, he's actually in a 3-star dungeon that's wrecking a lot of teams right now. But for the most part, I mean, he has some shield meta stuff. Reduce damage taken while shield's active. 40% chance to remove shields. Removing shields always good. He grants shields to all allies. Casters match HP, so based on his HP. His 1's nothing special. Some water evasion there. And then he can increase evasion by shielded allies. So, you got a water team, you need some evade. You know, he's someone to look at. So Erin's another one that looks kind of weird to me. Grants a shield, so she's light. That's pretty good with her 1, considering, you know, she's attacking with that as well. This is a 3 target, 110%, 30% chance to charm. Reduce damage taken by all allies, excluding the caster, by 20%, but then she takes more damage. So that can be, there's a pro and con there. Increase her HP and recovery amount. So that's cool, because she's going to be doing a damage amp to herself to mitigate damage for the allies, so that'll help her survive a bit. And if she goes ahead and goes down, she has a resolve here, so she's coming back up, or she's staying up rather. 100% chance of charming all enemies for 1 turn once resolve is activated. That's really nasty, actually. 100% chance to charm is basically, you know, assuming that the enemy's not immune to charm. Gonna go ahead and give you a free turn, basically, to do whatever you want. So you want to focus one enemy, you need to get your buffs up, you need to restore some health, obviously, because she's going to be low. So this character is not to be underrated here. She's actually pretty good. Little bit of, you know, you gotta have some holy characters, but yeah, that's just the way it goes. Claris is alright. I wouldn't say she's underrated necessarily. Bonnie's actually a character a lot of people sleep on, which is odd. So, number 1, she's gonna hit. Decrease target's attack. 50% chance, that's pretty good. Little buff there, you know, nothing crazy. 20% damage amp there. This is gonna hit 3 targets, so you're like, well, she's garbage. Well, 30% chance to silence a target for 2 turns. Remember, 2 more stars, that's gonna go to 50. When attacking a target with an attack decrease effect, she's already, you know, she's putting that on with her 1. If you got someone else in the party that puts that on, like a Ellie with AoE, it's really good. And then right here, you get her 60, 30% chance to decrease attackers for 2 turns when attacked. So you might go ahead and hit that while she's attacked. And then accuracy. Accuracy is a little bit underrated depending on the raid you go to. But this character, do not be fooled by her being an R. She can hit really hard. I've seen her hit for 10k. You know, not even like super epically geared out or anything. So don't sleep on that character. I'm trying to think, is this one of the band members? No, that's Karina. Karina's alright. The crazy thing about Karina is she stuns the enemy for a turn if attacking a charmed enemy. So if you're running her with a Mina and a Surdic for the Fire Dark meta, you know, they're charming people left and right. You get the Dark Amp already, the Fire Dark synergy. So that could be really good. She already has a 10%, that's going to go to 30%. Just passively charming people. She's got a decent ult, you know, no penetration, no ignore defense. Restores HP by 50, that's pretty good for a 2. And then her 1's nothing crazy, but you know, you can underrate her if you get her in a charm meta. I believe I don't actually have most of the other banned heroes, but I'm gonna go ahead and try to look for them for you guys. Try to wrap up this video here. So if you don't know what a hero does, you can always come to the codex over here. Go ahead and look up some SR characters. I'm looking for the banned characters. I'm just trying to remember what they look like. Let's see. One of them. Oh no, but Julie's actually not bad, but I don't think she's underrated, so. Here we go. Okay, so one of these is the other character. There's the lead singer, we went over her. So this girl. Let's look at her 6-star. So this girl, she's actually, I believe, the boss of one of the encounters, Trisha. So once again, she's taking advantage of the fanatic stuff, I believe, isn't she? Oh, apparently she's doing more shock. Alright, well, we'll go over her anyway. So she's SR. 100% attack here, single target, 35% chance to shock for 2 turns. Shock, once again, for those who don't remember, you dispel it, and you're stunned, so it does damage over time. Inflicts damage equal to 110%. Activates magic tuning for 2 turns. Not quite sure what magic tuning does. I remember it was something pretty crazy. I just forget what it is. Let's see here. Inflicts damage equal to 165% of attack for 3 turns. 100% chance to stun if the character is shocked. That's pretty gnarly. You just get a stun right off on your ultimate. And then inflicts additional damage. This is her passive. 30% of attack when attacking a shock target. 100% chance to multi-strike if the target has magic tuning. If the caster, if the target multi-strike the target if the caster with magic tuning uses a skill. Oh, okay, wow. So basically, if anyone has this magic tuning debuff, she's gonna multi-strike. Pretty crazy. And then 100% chance on her 60 to shock 2 enemies for 2 turns at the start of the wave. So once again, you got your debuff you need on them right at the beginning. Anyone dispels that, if there's a rune on the team, just get stunned. 50% chance to increase the obtained magic tuning duration by 2%. So you could just keep it going right there. So that's pretty nuts. Upon a successful critical strike, once again, she's multi-ing 100% on magic tuning. She's stunning. You go ahead and amp her crit a bit. She's going to get kind of ridiculous here. And there's that dark fire synergy again with counterattack this time. I'm going to go ahead, look up magic tuning just to see if it has some type of hidden synergy or hidden buff thing, and then we'll probably be done with the video after that. So if you want to look up buffs and some of the other things, you can go over to the menu question mark. Go ahead and check out skill effects. Go find magic tuning. Let's look at fanatic. It activates various skills with fanatic. Magic tuning. I guess it's just... is it a buff? I swore it was going to be a debuff. Maybe it's just not listed here. Well, no worries if it isn't. But basically, so it's an effect. It's going to amp the band members, or at least Trisha there. Well, anyways, guys, so there's some of the underrated heroes in this game. There's probably some I'm missing, and you can go ahead and comment if you think I'm missing one, because I don't know all the heroes of this game, obviously. But hopefully, that'll show some sleeper characters for you guys, because we're getting to the point in the game now where people need to start thinking about not only the top tier characters, but the characters that not only synergize well with certain mechanics, like a bleed or a brand or a fanatic, But also, there's hero bonuses on a lot of the Advent and a lot of the guild dungeons. You'll notice that there's similar heroes there all the time. Those are heroes you need to consider at least getting to 45 so that you can take full advantage, even if they're going to die during the run. You got that additional 100% attack, or you got that additional skill reduction, etc. So just stuff to think about, guys. As always, I'm ShowtimeDr. I stream this game on Twitch at a lot of afternoons and evenings, Pacific Standard Time. Good luck to y'all. Get strong, farm hard. Have a good day.